Welcome to another episode of Nintendo Ninja News. This is episode 13 and I'm your host Chris Tysus, and we're here to talk about Amiibos today. But just before we get into it, we're going to give you a small update on the Cause a Stir campaign that we're trying to get. It's a grant where if we get as many votes as we can, in the top 15 we'll get $1,000 worth of funding, which will extremely help and expand this podcast. At the moment, we're coming fourth with 69 votes, and we're looking for our 70th vote. So if you can help us out there, that would be truly fantastic. You can see that on the new Nintendo Ninja fan page that we have just created last week, which is pretty cool. So with that out of the way, we are right on top of all the Amiibo stuff currently happening so far. As we all know, the Woolly Yoshi Amiibo is coming out next month, which is very cool. And it is coming towards the first anniversary of the Amiibos, which was introduced during the 10th last year. Now, obviously, these are toys to life or series that Nintendo had revealed has been very successful so far. And I had predicted when Nintendo would eventually make these toys that they would be very successful. And they were for probably a couple reasons why. Number one, it's licensed Nintendo figurines, which is something that you don't see too much from Nintendo. They don't really do stuff like that. And especially with lesser known franchises such as Metroid and Fire Emblem and characters like Rosalina and things like that. You just don't see those type of figurines come out. So that's been really, really good. And for another reason is the shortage, the hard to find Amiibos. All around the world this has been happening, especially in America. That's been a really tough spot for Nintendo, and that's something that they are trying to address and trying to solve at this point. Now, in terms of sales, by December, the end of 2014, they sold 5.7 million Amiibo toys. By the end of March this year, they've sold 10.5 million Amiibos. So I would say that those numbers are probably around the 13 million mark by now. That's my rough guess. If they're selling well and they're increasing their stocks. And I remember when they first came out, they were scarce. I mean, it didn't even look like they even existed. And especially with the first 2 or 3 waves. But since after the Smash Brothers wave came out, they had the Super Mario Brothers wave that came out, which had Mario, Yoshi, Princess Peach, Bowser, so on. That was released, and that's more of a common sort of Amiibo line that they're releasing. So that's been really, really good to see that there is some sort of presence in the stores and shops that there is a product called Amiibos for sale for people to buy. My own experiences of trying to find these Amiibos, I learnt the hard way with the first wave, and the first wave was just non-existent to me. I don't think I actually got that many apart from Mario, which I actually found second-hand, and 1 or 2 others that I can't think of now. So that's been a really interesting look into the buying experiences and things like that. Normally, if I had to wait for the stores to open here in Australia, JB Hi-Fi, Big W, Target, EB Games. Normally EB Games have ran out. All the pre-orders are taken up very quickly. And that's the same for the Silver Mario Amiibo, which was only at EB Games. And that's happened at the American version of GameStop in America. And Target Worldwide is doing the Gold Amiibo, which is very interesting. You would have thought it might have been the other way around. So what I've experienced is they're still extremely hard to get, and I think Nintendo was probably caught with their pants down in terms of how successful this was going to be. I think they thought it was just going to be, mildly successful. Some people would buy it here and there, but I think what we've noticed now is people have been buying them not because of the content they can unlock, but mainly because of collectible figurines, because they look fantastic. And the quality of them compared to Skylanders and Disney Infinity is infinity times better. I look at the quality of those other figurines and they just look cheap. They look like they're going to break. And they don't look like something that will look good in many years' time, where these things look fantastic. For example, I think some of my favourite designs would be the Mario from the Super Mario Brothers Wave, which looks fantastic. Mega Man looks good. Bowser and Wario looks fantastic. Pikachu and Kirby looks very classical in their design, so it's probably not hard for them to muck up that type of design. Some others that look a little bit funny is the Link Amiibo with the urine stand that he sits on. Because previously he was going to have a white stand or just a see-through stand, and for some reason that got changed as time went on. So we don't really know why. So that was a strange